Hello, kindergarten. It's Miss Brennan. Happy Tuesday, and we are here for a brand new book. But before we dive into our brand new book, I want to go over a couple of things that our story is going to be about. So, as you know, we've been reading lots and lots of stories for the past several weeks, and we want to keep something in mind. We know that we have something called characters in our story. A character. Now, a characters are the people, animals, or creatures in a story. So they are talking in the story. They are doing things in the story and they are talking in the story. And they can be people like us, they can be animal characters, or they can be, like a toaster could be talking, creatures, anything in the story that's talking and doing things, they are a character in our story. So the story that we're going to focus on today has two main characters. And the character is the mommy and her little son, Owen, who is going to kindergarten. And there's something really interesting about this story. In this story, we see a lot of repetition. That means certain words are repeating over and over and over again, like you hear in a song, like the song Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. So here in that song, the twinkle, twinkle part gets repeated again and again. And in our story, we're going to hear the phrase, I love you all day long. So I want you to take a moment to think about that. You're going to hear this sentence over and over again in the story. And I want you to be thinking in your mind, what does this mean? I love you all day long. Now, when we think about love, we usually think about the shape of a heart because we know that when we love somebody, it's with our heart. So you love your mommy, your daddy, grandma, grandpa, aunties, uncles, cousins, whatnot. You love different people. And when you love them, you don't just love them for a little bit. You don't love them for 5 minutes. You love them all of the time. So I want you to be thinking about that as we're listening to the story about what does it mean to love someone all day long. So again, you're going to hear this sentence, I love you all day long, over and over and over again. And the cool part is that it's our title in the story. So let's go ahead and get started. And let's get a reminder that the author of our story is the person that writes the words. So Francisca Rusakis, she's the author. She's the one that wrote the words we're going to hear in the story. And the person who drew the pictures is called the illustrator. Her name is Priscilla Burris. She drew all the pictures in the story. So the author writes the words, the illustrator draws the pictures. Let's get started. I love you all day long. I love you all day long. Owen had an important question. Do I have to go today, Mommy? I wonder where he's gonna go. Yes, you have to go today, said Owen's mommy. I'm noticing in the pictures she's packing his lunch. So where do you think Owen is going? But Mommy, whispered Owen, you won't be with me. So as I'm looking at these pictures and I'm seeing that Mom is packing the lunch and he's gonna go somewhere she's not gonna go, I'm thinking maybe Owen is gonna go to school or maybe he's going to daycare. We'll see. But now I want you to think for a second. How do you think Owen feels? Look at his face. How does Owen feel that he's going somewhere without his mommy? And when I look at his face, it looks like his face does not look like it's happy. He doesn't look like he's mad, but maybe he looks like he's sad. Maybe he's not happy about the fact he has to go somewhere without his mommy. Let's keep reading to find out where he's going. That's right, Owen, said his mommy, but you should always remember this. I love you when I'm with you, and I love you when we're apart. So we're hearing something repeating in the story. I love you, I love you. So the mommy keeps telling Owen she loves him. love me all day long, said Owen. You're so right, sweet one, said Owen's mommy. I love you all day long. So again, we're hearing that sentence repeated. I love you all day long. I love you when you make a new friend. I love you when you share your favorite purple crayon, or when you make a mistake. So to me, it looks like Owen went to school. So now, seeing that Owen is sharing his purple crayon, he's drawing things, how do you think Owen feels about school now? Take a moment to think. Look at the pictures. How do you think Owen feels about school now? I love you when you trip over your shoelaces, or when you sing Itsy Bitsy Spider all by yourself. I love you all day long. So again, we're hearing this repeated. I love you all day long. We're hearing it over and over again. Why does the mommy keep saying she loves Owen all day long? I love you when you march to a clang, clickety clang. And I love you when you let a burp sneak out. Oh no. I love you when you're last in line, or when someone takes your toy. I love you all day long. So again, we're hearing the words repeated, I love you all day long. We're hearing that same sentence over and over again. And Owen's mommy keeps telling Owen she loves him over and over and over again. But now let's look at this picture. Let's look at this picture. Someone is taking Owen's toy. How do you think Owen feels about that? Someone is taking Owen's toy. How do you think Owen feels about that? When I'm looking at his face, I do not think he's happy about that. And I do not think it's very nice that somebody should take your toy. I love you when you accidentally make a mess, or when you can't wait for the bathroom. So how does Owen's mommy feel about him when he makes a mess? So you can see in the picture he's making a mess. And even though she can't see him, she knows that he's going to make a mess. How does she feel about him? What did the story tell us? How does Owen's mommy feel about the fact that he's going to make a mess sometimes? What did the story say? Take a moment to think. I love you when your juice spills, or when your crackers get soggy. I love you all day long. So again, we're hearing that same phrase over and over again in our story. I love you all day long is what the mommy keeps saying. Now let's look at this picture right here. And I see this really interesting word called soggy. Soggy is a word that's used to describe when your food accidentally gets wet. Maybe it gets wet with water or juice or soda. And then when your food gets wet, you really can't eat anymore and it's really yucky and gross. So I can look at Owen's face and I can really tell he is disgusted. He is disgusted that because his juice spilled, his crackers are soggy, and he is not gonna want to eat those crackers anymore. I love you when you wait for your turn, or when you climb too high. I love you when you have to call for help. Well, looks like his frog friend doesn't have to call for help. And I love you when you figure things out for yourself. I love you when you follow directions, or when it's your turn to feed the fish. So it looks like Owen's doing a lot of stuff in school. He's having a lot of fun. I love you when you fly into my arms and when you hug me as tightly as you can. So she keeps saying she loves him. I love you. She repeats those words over and over and over again. I love you all day long. So let's think about the story for a second. How does Owen's mommy feel about him at the end of the story? How did she feel about him at the beginning of the story? So this is the end of the story. How does she feel about him? And thinking about the beginning of the story, if we go back, we go all the way back to the beginning of the story. Owen's mommy says, I love you when I'm with you, and I love you when we're apart. So I know at the beginning of the story, how she feels about him is that she loves him. So I want you to think at the end of the story, does she feel the same way? How does she feel about Owen at the end of the story? Does she feel the same way as the beginning, or is it different? How does Owen's mommy feel about him at the end of the story? Just take a moment to think. And think about the words that kept repeating in the story. I love you all day long. What does that mean? I love you all day long. All righty, boys and girls. Well, I hope that you enjoyed that story. I love you all day long. So I want you to just be thinking about the repetition that you heard this sentence, the title of our story, lots and lots of times. What does that mean? And remember, the author writes the words, the illustrator draws the pictures. Okay, guys. Well, I'll see you later. Have a great Tuesday. Bye-bye.